Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is just going to be like update on my life, all that, and all the new things that I have going on. I brought my ring light. Can you see it? But I didn't bring the plug, so the ring light isn't working. Right now I could use it as a stand, but I figured I'd just hold the camera or I can put it down. I could do that. Let's bat back all the way back to senior year of college. I made an update video of like, hey, I moved at home, this, that, and third. So in January, so second semester of my senior semester, I decided to move back home basically because I was just going through a lot at the time. I wasn't happy, and then in order for me to graduate with my certificate, like I could have graduated early, but I started my certificate freshman year and that was the only thing I needed to complete. So I was like, okay, I need an internship. The only internship I could get was back in Atlanta. And then with me having to pay rent by myself, that $600 a month with me being a student, my schedule got crazy. I couldn't do it anymore. So it was just a lot, and I moved back home. So I moved back home and, you know, things got better. I was interning, whatever, graduation hit. So some of you may not know, I hadn't had my car, Carly, RIP to her, for a while. And then I got her back and she was still under the weather, and then I knew I was going to eventually have to buy a car. So my car broke down like April. I was supposed to be taking pictures, like my senior pictures. And then, so yeah, I haven't had a car since April. So me, my mom, my sister, we're sharing a car because Sierra came back from school for the summer, and we were sharing a car, and my mom was like, you know, you're not gonna want to do this all summer. I was like, I know. So I was looking and applying for internships like everywhere. I was applying for jobs everywhere, and for the longest I wasn't applying for jobs because I was very like unhappy, and I was discouraged about like finding something full-time, and I was still not knowing if I wanted to go to grad school or whatever. And it got to the point where I would just sit and lay in bed and not apply for a job or apply to grad school, but that's besides the point. So my uncle actually got me this internship in DC. So my Uncle Kevin and Uncle Keith, they're twins, they live in the DMV area. So he was like, oh yeah, you can come work with this baseball team, Cal Ripken League, called the DC Grays. So that was my first internship offer, basically. And you got a stipend like $1,000 for working with them. So I was like, okay, bet, I'll just move up there and work. So cool. And it worked out because my Uncle Keith had just moved into a house. He had 2 cars. So basically, like, I lived in a home, I had my own bedroom, and I had my own car essentially to drive around. So that was great. And then like a couple weeks before I actually decided for real I was moving to DC, like I got a call from the T. Howard Foundation about pairing me with this job, but they never called me back. And they called me and they were like, okay, well, we have this job for you, do you want to accept it or not? We need to know by today. And that was with C-SPAN. And for those who don't know, like T. Howard is basically like this minority program that you can apply for as an undergrad student, maybe grad, but they basically pair you with like companies. So like they take your resume, send them out to them, and then if the company or the employer are interested, they'll bring you, like they'll call you for an interview. So C-SPAN called me for about a digital media position. Mind you, I had never heard of C-SPAN before. Like, I'm not into news or politics or whatever, but basically it's like a political broadcasting network. But they asked me to work in their digital media department, which, even though it's like political and I want to do sports, like it was still down the same avenue only because like I would be working with graphics, and like graphics is just something else, that just another skill that I feel like is essential work being a journalist. So I took that position. It's a full-time position, and then the minimum wage in DC is way higher than down in Georgia. So when I was at home, I was barely making money at Finish Line. Like I had to beg for hours, working 20-25 hours a week for $8, and I still wasn't having money, and it was so sad. So the position in DC, I was getting paid $14 an hour minimum wage, and then I was working full-time, so I worked 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. So, and I got paid every week, so that was great. And then I didn't have to pay for rent, I didn't have to pay for a car or whatever. Boom. So I moved to DC. Cool. Bought one-way ticket because I told my friends, yeah, I'm leaving, cool, whatever. But like probably like a week or two in, I decided I was gonna stay in DC. Like people thought I was moving back home, but I was like, I'm not moving back to Georgia unless I have a full-time position. Like there's literally nothing in Georgia for me. Like it's just a lot. My parents live in a 2-bed apartment for them and for Sierra. Like I have no room, so when I come home, like I sleep on the couch. Like there's nowhere for me to sleep. I'd rather stay here in a house where I have a bed and a car and I don't have to share it. Finished middle of August. So after that, I started applying like midway through for positions and everything, and I was just like, okay, whatever. A week later, I was just like, maybe I could just get like a local job in the meantime while I'm looking for stuff. So that's when I started working at the restaurant Chadwick's in Old Town. It's like this rich little small town in Alexandria, Virginia. So I worked at Old Town for a month, and then that's when, like, I want to say everything has been happening so fast paced, and I literally just give all glory to God, because I'm just so happy that I learned how to adjust and adapt quick. Because when I tell you I be on the move, I don't know what I would do if I did not have friends and family in these states. I would be SOL. Change of location or positions. I didn't tell anybody I applied for the position aside from like my uncle, Kayla, and maybe one other person, because the last time I applied for a full-time position, or I almost got a full-time position, and I told my parents, they made a big deal out of it, and I didn't end up getting it. So I was just like, I don't want them to like jinx it or whatever, so I didn't tell them. And then I got the position. I literally just got the job. Like I got the position September 27th. They asked me to start on the 7th. That was the official start date, like if I could get down there, or I could start on the 17th or the 14th. I was like, do I want to stay in DC and still work at this job at this restaurant, because I don't really care for it for real, or do I want to drive down to Charlotte and make some money? So bam, I drove down to Charlotte. I drove home first to tell my parents, oh my gosh, got the job. My dad was out in Manila, so I couldn't like celebrate with him, but I came home for a few days, whatever. How did I get home from DC, you may ask? Well, I got a new car. That is my other exciting news. Aside from me getting a new job, I also got a new car. My uncles kind of surprised me, because they were telling me, like, I asked my uncle, can I take his truck, like the one I've been driving around, and he was like, yeah, sure, you can take it down to Charlotte until we find you one. So I was like, oh, you're looking for a car for me? That's so sweet of you. Like, what more can I give you, because you've given me so much? Like, I love you. So I came across the Ford Focus, and boom. So I was like, okay, cool, this is nice, whatever. And then we get into the office, we're talking to the man, and he's talking about, yeah, so we can get the paperwork done so you can take it home with you. I was like, take it home? Like, what you mean we taking it home? And he was like, yeah, that was the whole point of us coming, because you're getting a car. And I was like, stop, like, stop it. I was like, we finna get a car? Like, I'm finna get a car. I ain't about to get a car. Like, I was like, I'm about to get a car? He was like, yes. I was like, y'all are gonna make me cry, and y'all know I don't be crying. So I was really about to cry, because I was just like, oh my gosh, nobody has ever done this for me. So yeah, I got my car. That's my news. I live with my best friend Kayla. I have a new job and I have a new car. I can always like make another video about more going more in detail about the ESPN position, working in the digital media department. But yeah, everything's going so good now that I really just think God had to put me through that struggle, because I've never really struggled much in my life with anything. And I guess junior, senior year is when it all hit me. And like my biggest struggle in college was financial issues, because before I would like joke about being broke, but when it got to the point where I had to like pay rent on my credit card, it was just not fun at all. Like being broke in a college student is not fun, and people joke about it, but like it's not fun. So I say all this to say that sometimes God will put you through things in order to restore your trust in him, and I feel like that really needed to happen to me. Like I'm so thankful for this whole situation that I've gone through. I feel like I never display my emotions or what I'm going through. I always like play it cool. I don't really like to talk to people about what I'm going through. It's a personal thing I'm trying to get over. But yeah, but this was one of the situations where I literally had like several emotional breakdowns, and I like cried several times, and like I just was going through it and nobody knew, and it was not pretty for me for at least a year, and it was really hard. But I'm just thankful that I got through it, and my friends and family were being very supportive, those who were aware of what I was going through. Some of you might have not known the extent of things or whatever, but just for the people who checked on me, I'm very thankful. But yeah, talk to somebody about whatever you're going through if you trust them, because people like your friends and family are there to help. And don't be like me and hold stuff in, because you'll go crazy like I did on several occasions. And crying out of nowhere is not fun, because I did that a lot of times. I just be like, ew, why am I crying? But yeah, so life is not easy, and I don't know, it's just I went through a lot, and I felt like I was worthless when it came to a lot of things, especially like applying for jobs and stuff. Like if you could look at all the rejection letters I got from ESPN, it just got to the point where I would just apply for ESPN out of sport. Like I'm just like, well, I'm probably not going to get the job, so let me apply to all 30 of these positions, and then maybe I'll get callbacks on a few. Like I started getting callbacks from ESPN like junior year, so I was like, maybe I'll get a few callbacks or whatever. Got a few callbacks, never really went anywhere. So like honestly, I never really expected to get this position, but I feel like that's the beauty of it, because now I see like I am capable of working here. So all I have to say is know your worth, because when you know your worth and when you know you're good, people will start to recognize that. Because if you don't know your worth and how good you are at what you're doing, folks not gonna see that. And I've learned that. So yeah, that was my little inspirational chat for you guys today on what I'm doing in my life. So next stop is a full-time position. Like the position I'm working is full-time, but it's an intern, and it can be carried over to next year. Because the reason why I got the internship was because like the person who was in my position got hired full-time. So hoping that's me. But until then, I'm gonna continue to work my butt off, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace.